Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna talk about how to trivialize VR. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So, I haven't been doing videos on VR for a while, and the reason for that is that, honestly, by this point, you only need like 2 builds and you can clear any level of VR, and it's just extremely easy. So yeah, let's check it. We're gonna do 950 over here, 950 for Queen Kanaloa. So you're gonna need 2 characters, and those are gonna be Lan and Aina. With that, you're done. You can clear everything. Lan is gonna be like the generalist farmer that is going to obliterate every single enemy in one single skill use. And Aina is the specialist, which deals with the one enemy that Lan struggles against. So yeah, let's start by showing you what Lan is doing. Lan is going to be abusing the White Snake supporter, one White Snake Lan. Why is this supporter that important? Well, because it's the one that gives the most damage in the game right now, but you need to combo quickly, which Lan can easily do. You can put this on the subslot and you'll have a lot of damage. Then after that, you can put whichever damage increase supporters you want or have. Like Kaina is a very good option because the supporter give you buffs, and I also pair it with the Founding 3. But I mean, if you want to go blue, you can use Arabella, which is a generic option. You can use Bride and a Rose, you can use Felicia, you can use Massacre Kunai. There's plenty of options. Even Tracer Sora. It is possible to use Tracer Sora and just have a lot of damage. But the main one that you're gonna need is Lan Shan. Then, for the weapon, I am using, of course, Anax Office. It's the best option for Lan. If you don't have that, you can go with whichever weapon you want. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. The ambitious weapon doesn't give an edge over other weapons in particular, especially with this kind of build and gameplay. The Momochi weapon is usable and strong, but since we're on VR, you can equip that on another character and rely on guaranteed crits with another character. But if you decide to equip Lan with the Bride and a Rose, then equipping this weapon is not a bad option. Absolver's Fural is another great weapon because it gives damage increase, damage reduction, and the ability to strip buffs from the enemy, which is pretty important. But as I mentioned, the best one is going to be Anax Office because of the generic damage increase for skills. And well, I have 3 skills, but the only skill I use is Be Like Cloud, Be Like Water, and that's it. That's all I do. Then, for formations, I am not even using formations. Like, I'm using penetration and this doesn't even match the enemy that I'm fighting. So, it's like using 2 formations, okay? So, yeah, this is busted. Now, talking about your partners, use whatever you have that you like to use and it's strong in your account. Like right now, I'm using Felicia because she's gonna enable healing for the Lan, for the whole team, in fact. And Phantasma because we know that Phantasma is one of the best supporters in the game. But if you want to use Tokiko, if you want to use Kirara, whatever you want to use, you can use. As simple as that. Just put the right supporters and skills for the occasion. In this case, I am fighting Queen Kanaloa, so that means that I want to put the Core Phantasma. And well, that's about it. Like, Phantasma has the Momochi weapon, so she's gonna go blue and she's gonna use arrows. She's gonna have the Mirabelle and the Harrow as usual. As simple as that. So yeah, let me just show you what this build does. We just wait for the enemies to appear, and then I just press dodge and it's done. The battle is done. Like, I'm gonna be able to defeat the enemies fairly quickly. Unless the Queen Kanaloa, decides to re-summon the small Kanaloas. That happens from time to time. But as you can see, I'm dealing so much damage so quickly. It is absurd. So yeah, I did it under a minute. That's it. That's all you need to do. I can do it faster, but it is a bit RNG because the summons are going to push you away from the enemy. And you can do this strategy for all the bosses, or well, almost all the bosses. It is, let's see, here we have the bosses. It is effective against the LWS squad. It is effective against Mass Taimanin. As you saw, it's effective against Queen Kanaloa, against Worm Knight, against Thank You. The one enemy that this doesn't work against is Queen Arachne. And that's because of her multiple phases. I mean, she's not the only boss with multiple phases. Who is it? Ingrid has multiple phases. Thank You has multiple phases. But she has 3 while the other bosses have only 2. And on top of that, in between each phase, she's going to summon a wave of enemies. And that means that you will have to chase, quote unquote, chase the enemies in order to go to the next wave, to the next phase, which is the reason why we use Aina for the other run. So I'm just gonna remove this and this, and I'm gonna use Aina, and I'm gonna show you the build. Obviously, Aina is not. She doesn't excel against this particular battle. She excels against Queen Arachne, but I mean it's gonna work. So I'll just equip this, and I think it was win. So I'll just do this. Nice. So in Aina's case, for Aina, there's 2 possible options in the weapon department. The best one, of course, is Tempest Hurricane, which, if you didn't roll for the banner, or you're trying to grab it through any banner, like the rotation banner, or maybe through the exchange facility, it might be difficult to get copies of this. It's better to use vouchers for this. So this is the best weapon. Why? Because, of course, it increases particle charge amount by 300%. It reduces the cooldown of your skills by 0.3% per hit from the drones, which is going to allow you to just spam your skills. And it also gives you penetration and speed. The alternative is to use not pufferfish, which, yeah, it is not as strong, but it has particle charge and that's appreciated. Then, we use the basic enhancers for this one. This one is really important because we need as many sources of particle charge as possible. We use Bullet Storm, really useful because of the amount of multi-hit. It charges super quickly, the ultimate gauge. And then you can equip whatever you want. Fastest Shot, Quad Burst, Bullet Dance, whatever you want is fine, honestly. Like, the only 2 skills that matter are these. Now, on this one, we use Kamimura and Maika, along with Tomoe. And then, okay, you can equip whatever you want on the last slot. You can equip, for example, Kowaru. But I'm gonna do something funny. Because it's something that you can do. It's something that you can do, and it works. So you can equip Ingrid. Ingrid usually wouldn't be that great because the idea is to ulti spam, and she reduces damage from the ultimate. Why do you do that, JC? Why? Well, because a significant amount of the damage that Aina deals doesn't come from the ulti itself, but rather the drones. You can rely on the drones and just spam particle charge, and that's it. So let's do a run, and let's just change this too, because she is a protected character. So penetration 12%, not bad. 12% penetration, and how about 16% critical damage? Yeah, that should do. So if I'm able to crit, which I should. So I'm just going to charge my particles. We put Maika because she's going to charge very quickly. She's going to enable us to charge. And as you can see, she also has an active that deals AoE damage and that charges your particles. And on top of that, it has an effect to charge your particles. So yeah, I'm not dealing that much damage with the ultimate, but I am casting the drones like crazy. And that's what I wanted. The drones. The drones deal significant damage. The more ultis I do, the more damage they deal. And well, Aina can beat probably all the PR bosses. The other one is faster. Lan is way faster. The only exception being Queen Arachne, because you have to chase those mobs in between phases, and that's gonna take a while. And in fact, you probably cannot do the run in less than a minute while holding Lance's skill. And well, yeah, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Well, it was more, but you know, the ultimate doesn't count in the timer. So yeah, those are the two characters you want to use in order to trivialize this. Of course, it requires some amount of limited gear. Let's go with, where is she? Lan. So for Lan, you want to use Lan, White Snake Lan. That's one limited. And then for Aina, you want to use Fire God Maika. That's another limited. Then we have a permanent, and I'll show you the alternatives for this one. We have the SR Momoko, which is an alternative. We have the UR Hikage. Not that great. It's better to just use Momo because this is a UR. And you get more stats, but the other effects, the extra effect, won't do anything because we don't use a weapon active. So yeah, those are basically the two supporters that you can use for particle charge. And well, Ingrid is a bit more difficult to get, but just put Momoko and a copy of Hikage, Momoko and a copy of Tomoe, just to enhance your particle charge as much as possible. And work on the Tempest Hero kind by grabbing some tickets. In the case of Lan, the weapon really depends on the build. If you go blue with Bride and a Rose, you can use the Momochi weapon, which is more F2P friendly. If you forgo this, I mean, it does accelerate the farming, but even so, I did it in under a minute. So you probably can just replace it with another weapon, maybe the renewal weapon when we get that. And you can use some other limited stuff like Raiden, Rose, and Felicia, but there's plenty of F2P stuff, plenty of permanent supporters that you can use that just give you a ton of damage and will help you demolish the content. So anyways, and that's about it for today. I hope you find this useful. Let me know in the comments if you agree, if you think investing in those supporters is actually pretty good or not in your experience, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!